activities in their areas, but also as competitors, and also we'll also be seeing a rise in youth volunteering for the champs. We also have councils taking part with the Year of Young People. These young people on the screen over here, they'll have their grey hoodies. These are our 500 ambassadors dotted around Scotland. Now, Rachel and I both have blue hoodies, so that tells you we're communicating theme leaders. And moving on, Dumfries and Galloway also had their big launch event for the Year of Young People, which was particularly exciting. There was a lot of buzz about it on Twitter. Here in Glasgow, it's also going to be very exciting, where we'll be holding the TEDx Youth at Glasgow with some very inspiring speakers coming up with loads and loads of ideas from young people. And also vloggers are getting involved with the Year of Young People. We've got Beauty Creep here talking about what it means to be Scottish for her and why she's so proud about being Scottish, what Year of Young People means to her. And at the same time, historic events, Historic Environment Scotland also consulted with young people and asked them, how could we get young people engaged with culture and historic kind of places in Scotland? So, for the Year of Young People, anybody with a Young Scot card can enter cultural places such as Stirling Castle, the Stones in Orkney, and loads of other different cultural places for just £1. So that's particularly exciting for this year. And very recently, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle came up to Edinburgh to see the young people, and because they've heard a lot about the Year of Young People and wanted to know what it was all about. So it was particularly exciting for everyone to be able to get to meet them and see and hear about what they think. And we'll move on to YPI Scotland.
Okay, so could everyone please stand up?
So we'll start off easy. Stay standing if you know what charity is.
Now let's see who's generous. Stay standing if you've ever donated to charity.
This one's slightly harder. Stay standing if you've heard of YPI.
If you've heard of YPI, you should know what it means. So if you do, stay standing.
If you're still standing, you should know that YPI stands for Youth Philanthropy Initiative. Now stay standing if you actually know what philanthropy means.
Finally, stay standing if you've been through the experience of YPI and won. Now we'll show you a short video about YPI.
I care about people and how society treats one another. We can make a difference, and through what we did, we have made a difference, and that's incredible to see.
YPI opened my eyes towards the community, towards other people who actually need our help.
I don't just see a person sitting on the street now, I see someone who's got a backstory, they've got a life, and they just need a bit of help.
Your community's more than it appears. When you look at it from the outside, you do need to kind of go deeper into it to understand what it's totally about.
It just showed us that we can always help. Anyone can help, not just adults, children can help as well.
Before YPI, I never really knew much about my local area. I never really knew what was happening around it and how people were being affected.
But YPI did definitely open up the doors to a lot of new charities that you didn't necessarily know were around.
It really is life-changing, not just for you, but for the people you help.
I feel great. I feel as if I've done something which is really valuable to both me, my school and the community.
It was a bit nerve-wracking, but after about 10 minutes of being there, everybody was so nice, and you definitely felt like you were part of something bigger.
the feeling you get back from it, you know, you don't think that you can do it until you do it, and then the charity are so happy, and it's just a mixture of feelings that's great and makes you want to do it again.
I've definitely got a lot more confidence, and it made me kind of understand who I was more than I did before YPI.
I think people just look at us as just teenagers, typical teenagers, but I don't think we realise and others realise what we can actually do for the world and how we can start helping from a young age.
It was easy for us to make a difference. We just had to be ordinary people doing something that was extraordinary for people.
We are Carly,
Hannah,
and Zoe.
and we are 3 of 31,000 secondary school pupils who take part in YPI every year.
We represent one of over 235 schools who participate in YPI across Scotland.
We represent the North Lanarkshire School Kilsyth Academy.
As we previously said, YPI stands for Youth Philanthropy Initiative.
And for those of you who wondered, philanthropy is when an organisation devotes their earnings to socially useful purposes.
For example, Bill Gates, among the greatest philanthropists, donating $35 billion to charity over the course of his career.
YPI Scotland is a principal programme of the Wood Foundation, Sir Ian Wood's charitable foundation.
Each year, the Wood Foundation donates approximately £690,000 to YPI.
That's £3,000 per school to donate to their winning group's chosen charity.
At the start of the course, YPI send out a representative to brief each school's chosen year group about the course.
All participants were put into teams that could range from 2 to 10 members.
Before each team picked their charity, they were asked to list as many social issues they were aware of in their community as possible.
This is to make young people aware of how many social issues there really are. Social issues can include
Mental health,
Poverty,
physical disabilities,
physical, mental and domestic abuse.
homelessness,
terminal illnesses.
This allows groups to find an issue which they feel strongly about, leading them to their chosen charity.
Charities can vary from mental health charity Chrissy's House to Friends of Merklyn School.
A school-based charity for children aged 5 to 18 with disabilities.
Friends of Merklyn School was a charity we felt most strongly about due to the social issue it supports.
All three of us felt a connection with the children, and I had a special connection, my little cousin Emma, which helped lead us to our decision.
When creating our presentation for YPI, we found that it was important to get across exactly what we aim to do for the charity.
With a massive help from all the kids at Merklyn's, we created a poster which symbolised them reaching for their dreams.
We asked them to draw around their hands on different colours of paper and to decorate them in a way that represents their personality.
We then asked them to decorate stars and write on them what they wanted to be in later in life. Let's just say we're going to have some future singers, firefighters and many McDonald's workers.
We truly enjoyed working with the kids, as did they working with us, so they've invited us back for a 5th time.
We are overjoyed that we have gained such a strong connection with our charity, and even after we won for them, they still like to work with us.
With the money we won from Merklyn's, the school were able to refurbish their minibus.
Before we won the £3,000, their minibus was run down, dangerous for the children and practically out of use.
The newly improved minibus is particularly important for the children at Merklyn's as it gives them more experience for later in life.
Social experience is a big part of Merklyn's curriculum as it helps to build children's confidence and teaches them how to act in everyday life.
As simple a thing as going to the shops or going out for dinner teaches them how to deal with money and how to interact with the public.
It also teaches the public to be aware and accepting of young people with disabilities.
It helps the young people not feel isolated and allows them to be themselves. Working in groups allows children to create a bond with their classmates and allows them to always have a friend.
One exciting trip the kids have recently been going on is trips to the local dry ski slope, which will soon lead them to a trip in Italy that Emma, Zoe's cousin, is going on.
Friends of Merklyn School are greatly appreciative of our hard work and dedication. The money we won has made a huge impact on the school, and without YPI, that wouldn't have been possible.
We are thankful that YPI exists, as it would be hard for anyone to raise such a large amount of money for charity alone.
YPI raises awareness to young people of social issues in Scotland and allows them to make a difference.
YPI teaches responsibility and worth ethic to the young people who participate as a reward for their charity at the end, pushes them to deliver their best work.
For a long time, young people have been underestimated, and now, thanks to YPI and many other organisations, young people have been put on the map.
Young people deserve a voice and opinion because these small yet crucial things have made a difference in our world.
From charity to politics, young people have finally gained a say in what their future holds by fighting for what they believe in.
Even in the most recent shooting in America, unlike their parents, the students are fighting for their own lives, and instead of them cowering away, they're fighting back against gun crime and their own president.
Although these are different circumstances, we believe that we can make a difference just like they do.
We are just 3 regular schoolgirls from a small rural school outside Glasgow. However, YPI enabled us to be more than that.
If you had tried to put us up here a year ago, we would not have done it.
Through 1 year of YPI, 235 charities have been benefited. That's not just one person per charity, but thousands who have been benefited by groups of young people just like us.
Even though winning was the aim, it was ultimately about young people helping their community to the best of their abilities.
We believe that if a group of adults went to Merklands to do the same project as us, they would not have gained the same connection as we did with the children at Merklands.
The children enjoyed working with us and felt free to be themselves when they were around us.
So we gave them one last project. Here's a video.
So we are asking you to stop saying that young people are the future, because young people are now.
Hello. Fortunately, I do not have a nice video, so if you get bored of my voice, you can stare at our lovely logo. But hi everyone, so my name's Suki and I'm from the Scottish Youth Parliament. I am the elected member for Glasgow Shettleston and I'm also SYP's Vice Chair. So I'm really happy to be here today at the gathering representing SYP. For anyone who's not familiar with us, we were established in 1999 and fun fact, we are 1 day older than the Scottish Parliament itself. So the Scottish Youth Parliament is the democratically elected voice of Scotland's young people aged 12 to 25. We hold elections every 2 years in which young people from across Scotland stand as candidates to become members of the Scottish Youth Parliament, or MSYPs for short. Our MSYPs range in age from 14 to 25 and we represent constituencies in all 32 local authorities across the country, as well as several national voluntary organisations, for example Who Cares Scotland and LGBT Youth Scotland. Our current membership stands at 166 MSYPs. So what do we do at SYP? At SYP, we strive to provide young people with a platform to discuss the issues that are important to them and to provide opportunities to actually affect real change. Our vision for Scotland is of a nation that actively listens to and values the meaningful participation of its children and young people in all matters affecting them. We want to ensure that young people from all backgrounds and communities across Scotland have access to the fundamental right of participation as protected by Article 12 of the UNCRC. At our last national elections in March 2017, we had more than 80,000 young people in Scotland casting their votes for who they wanted to represent them as their MSYP. Numbers of this scale give us a significant and genuine mandate to represent all of Scotland's young people. And we believe one of the key things that makes us unique from other organisations in Scotland and beyond that is that SYP is entirely youth-led. So our MSYPs elect our chair, our vice chair and trustees at our AGM every year. So all of the board of trustees, including myself, we are all aged between 16 and 25, which I think makes us some of the youngest trustees in the country. We carry all the responsibilities that other charity trustees have. We are responsible for governance and compliance with charitable and company law. We delegate operational responsibilities to our staff team, led by our chief executive, and they report directly to our chair, who is their line manager. But it's myself and our other 6 trustees who set out our strategic organisation and oversee all of SYP's activity. At SYP, we find that when young people are given power and empowered in this way, they tend to rise to that challenge and deliver results and impacts that other generations might not even consider would be possible. We're incredibly proud and passionate about our youth-led structure, but equally as important, we're very proud of how diverse our membership is. So we have an almost equal proportion of female MSYPs to male MSYPs, for example, and we have a high proportion of members who are living with a disability, who have had experience of the care system, or who identify as LGBTQI. So our membership also corresponds broadly to the Scottish Index for Multiple Deprivation Data, and this means that many of our members come from and represent some of the most deprived communities in Scotland. We're fortunate that across the political parties, SYP is taken seriously by Scottish politicians. All of our activity, however, is strictly non-party political in nature. So while many of our members do have political affiliations, we make sure that we keep this separate from our official duties. Instead, we like to take an issue-based approach to politics. There's no one political party in Scotland that supports all of the wide range of issues that young people care about, and we can work more effectively to achieve the change that we wish to see when we're able to reach out and engage with politicians from across the political spectrum. At a government level, an example of an engagement that we had with politicians is that we held the first ever meeting of young people with the full Scottish Cabinet last year. This meeting was a wide-ranging discussion about the key issues affecting young people in Scotland and, crucially, what we wanted government to do about them. At that event, we actually persuaded the First Minister and Deputy First Minister to agree to make the event an annual one, and our next meeting with the Cabinet will take place in just a few weeks' time in March. We think this is evidence that the Scottish Government does care about young people and that they are listening. However, we need them to go further. We are now really looking forward to our next meeting with the full Cabinet in March, at which we're going to be raising with them the key policy issues that matter to our constituents from all across Scotland. This year, the discussions will focus around our national campaign, which is on young people's rights, and that campaign is called Right Here, Right Now. Got a little badge on it. But our members consulted with 5,000 young people, or over 5,000 young people across Scotland, to inform their choice of our national campaign, which was launched in October 2017. And this campaign, like many other aspects of SYP, was youth-led. Our young people designed the logo, our young people chose the campaign name, chose the objectives, and designed absolutely everything about it. Like, we've got little like face tattoo things, they're really cool. But we have like, it's one of the things that we're probably proudest of in terms of how well everything came from a youth-led and grassroots perspective. And so our national campaign was launched in October 2017. In our campaign, we are seeking to raise awareness amongst young people in Scotland about their rights and empower them to ensure that these rights are upheld. We're seeking to build stronger links between our members and other elected representatives, and we're campaigning for young people's rights to be upheld in law in a number of different ways. However, the overarching campaign call is for the Scottish Government to incorporate the UNCRC into Scots law. We believe that there could be no greater statement from the politicians at Holyrood that young people matter in Scotland in 2018 than if there's a commitment from them that they will incorporate the UNCRC into the law that Scotland's young people have to live under. That is the legacy that we want to see from you, young people. A commitment and law that ensures that young people's rights must be respected and that any action that discriminates against us ends. And that's what I and 6 other MSYPs will be asking for the First Minister and her colleagues in March, so wish us luck. As young people, we often find that the most difficult part of participation is actually just getting a seat at the table, actually just getting a foot in the door. But our work, our structures and our members are testament to the fact that when young people are given the opportunity, the support and the platform to try and make change, try and make a difference, we can, will and have risen to that challenge and exceed expectations. And that's why it's so important to have support from third sector organisations like yourselves. So if you want to find out more about our campaign, please do get in touch with me directly. I am on Twitter at SukiMSYP, and I also have an abundance of business cards because I got a little bit optimistic when I was ordering them, so please feel free to take them off me. Or you can go directly to our website, which is syp.org.uk. So thank you very much for listening.
So now that you've heard a bit about the activities for the Year of Young People, Young Scot, SYP, YPI, we're going to go on to a 15-minute kind of workshop session. So we're going to take 10 minutes to work on the following discussion points on the screen behind me. So they are, how are you currently engaging young people through service delivery, design, and governance, as well as how might you enhance the involvement of young people in service delivery, design, and governance. So in your groups, take about 10 minutes to discuss the points, and after that, we'll do a roaming mic for 5 minutes to get feedback from everyone in the room.
I was going to do the other half, but I was like, oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Hey, maybe you can stay up.
Instead of me just doing it. Okay. That's okay. I'll see. Okay, everyone. So I hope you've had a good kind of wee discussion within your groups. I've heard a lot of kind of buzz of ideas happening around, and I'm looking forward to hearing what it's about. So we'll take about 5 minutes feedback from the audience and getting sort of input of what you've been talking about in your discussion groups. And so if you want to say a bit about what you've done and how you answered these questions, just please raise your hand, and Suki and I will approach you with our mics, with our roaming mics.
Yeah. So who wants to be the first volunteer, the first victim? Oh, right. Okay, that side. Right. We split it up into two sides, so I would like this side to perform better than that side, just so that I can beat Aaron. No pressure.
Hello. We're having a kind of discussion about here. It's communication, really. There seems to be a lot of organisations in the room that maybe represent youth, but it appears that youth seem to still have difficulties in terms of communication and inclusion. So I don't know whether this is my question or whether it's a table's question. Why don't you start your own communication groups or your own third sector organisations? And how do you measure how successful you are in terms of communication? I mean, there's some discussion here about schools being contacted and maybe not getting a response about opportunities. So it surely seems to be everything's in place and in principle, but in practice, it doesn't tie up, doesn't link up. Is that your understanding? Ask anybody who wants to answer it.
Well, okay, so basically, I think, are you referring to communicating? Okay, so basically, I think I'll try and answer this the best way I can. One of those is for communicating, as I said earlier, we're 35 co-design leaders from across Scotland from different sectors and different things. The same with the ambassadors, the local ambassadors, there's 500 of those, and those tap into all different organisations and all different sectors, schools and such like. But on top of that, within different organisations, there's already like leading young people within those. But what we would encourage is if there isn't, then get young people onto things like that and get them onto like supporting panels or decision-making panels. That's what sort of this year's about as well, is making sure that young people are included in those processes, and that's also partly your role as well as ours. Young people are very involved. It's about just making sure you know who those young people actually are and also helping support them to identify themselves. But there is all different types of ways of getting young people involved. But as I said before, we are trying to support as many young people to become part of decision-making panels and different processes within local authorities and organisations. But yeah, there is actually quite a lot of young people representing Yes already, but they haven't just been like, selected because they're already known. These are young people that have applied to do this process, that have come from all different backgrounds and right across Scotland. Does that make sense?
Just speak to an interesting guy here that runs a radio station. Is there a youth-specific radio station for communication across Scotland? Or do you need to rely on other stakeholders telling you what's important and what's not important?
As I said, there's young people involved with all different organisations and groups. In local authorities, there's some local radio stations and other projects within things like Young Scot and SYP and other organisations where young people are leading on projects and involved with projects like Edinburgh. There's a youth radio, and so there's young people involved with that. So I think it depends on the area as well, but there's nothing to stop you from getting young people involved. We're not saying that young people are involved with everything, but what we're saying, there's nothing to stop you from getting them involved.
Fantastic.
I work for a third sector interface, and I recruit volunteers for boards, etc. And I go out and challenge organisations about their board and the age limit they have, and it's a huge issue. Even with volunteering opportunities, it's a huge barrier for young people, is this age limit. It's all down to insurances, etc. We're here to challenge it, and thanks to the ambassadors, etc., the Year of the Young People, this is the year to challenge it for young people, I'd say. And that's what my job is. I go out there and shout loud for the young people in my area, and let's hope the other TSIs do the same, because that's what it's all about, getting together and doing it and being a bigger voice for the community. But I'll go out and raise my voice for you.
Unfortunately, we only have we only have time for one more feedback. So anybody out there?
It's in the middle. Right, you stuck your hand up very quickly, so there you go.
I actually co-chair some of the health and social care integration locality planning groups in Argyll and Bute, Cowell and Bute to be specific. And actually in the last year since taking over the co-chair role, we have engaged with our MSYP to ensure there is young people represented on that particular group, because ultimately they are the ones that we need to be changing things for.
Thanks for your feedback, everyone. Actually very, very interesting, and I hope you guys have learned a bit more from your workshops. And you know, there's nothing to stop you from speaking to each other again after this session. So now we'll have a bit from Emmy from Youth Scotland.
Morning everybody, as Aaron says, my name is Emmy Main and I have got a lot of hats. I have been a member of the Scottish Youth Parliament, I'm a member of Communique 18, but today I am here as a trustee of Youth Scotland. So for those of you that don't know, Youth Scotland is a national charity that supports and delivers youth work in community settings. So we're a member organisation and we believe that our member groups can change the lives of young people through youth work. So as you can see from the side, we've got some statistics. We've currently got around 1,095 member groups, and there's about 64,255 members that are age range 6 to 18. So we're getting a lot of young people involved. There's other statistics there, and they're also available in our Impact Report 2016-17. So we help to support and develop those who work with young people in communities, so youth workers, volunteers, and other people that work in youth work capacities. And we're also the home of some awards from the Awards Network. So the High Five Award, which is for age 5 and plus, the Dynamic Youth Award, and the Youth Achievement Award. So what we're trying to do is to develop accredited opportunities for young people from 5 years old all the way to the end range of young people, so about 25. So my experience with Youth Scotland has come from being a volunteer all the way through to becoming a trustee. So locally, I am originally from Buckie. Is there anybody from the northeast here? Hey, good people. I'm originally from Buckie, and at school I took part in the Platinum Youth Achievement Award. It was based around me looking at my local youth council that I was involved in and mentoring other young people to be advocates for the young people that they represented in their area and to feel more confident about using their voice to represent. So that took me approximately 2 years. There was a lot of self-development stuff, so thinking about the skills that I had and the kind of areas that I needed to improve on, undertaking training, and then doing a lot of evaluation of the project. So it took 2 years in total, and in July 2016 I finally completed it, and from that I got in contact with the Chief Executive of Youth Scotland. He'd heard me talk at another thing through Year of Young People, and he was like, I want you on my board. And the thought of being on a board was quite daunting to me. It was something that I'd never done before, something that no one had ever really talked about. So I was like, I'll go for it, I'll see what happens, and I applied to be a trustee. I was put into an election and I was elected in November 2016. And since then, the process of becoming a trustee has been so brilliant. Youth Scotland is an organisation, although it is mainly people that aren't young people that are on the board, they've been so supportive. A lot of it has been to do with like finances and charity law, and they've given me an opportunity to learn. People have supported me, they've offered me to come along to groups, and I think that the environment that they've got at Youth Scotland is something that could encourage other organisations to involve young trustees. That's kind of what I want to talk about today, is how, if you're a charity, for example, and you do have trustees, it's how you can involve young people in becoming your trustees. I think that we've been talking about the Year of Young People, and I think that this year is a real opportunity to make the time to figure out how you can support young people to be involved, especially if you are doing work that involves young people. It's important that you've got that voice in your organisation to kind of say, no, this is how it should be done. You've seen from all of the talks that have been today that young people like to challenge things, and that's so important that you've got that voice there to challenge what you're doing, because it's your everyday work. You might think, aye, that's great, that's really good, young people love that, but they might not. And that's what young people are here to do, is to challenge that and to get you to think.
Nearly, I think this is still on, isn't it?
Oh, wait, no.
So as we wrap up today, we want to...
I'm not finished. What? I was getting Aaron to change the slide. So I'm doing a little bit about the Sustainable Development Goals as well. The one that I've circled is reduced inequalities, because it's known that youth work is a way to reduce inequalities. There's a lot of chat just now about the attainment gap and how youth work can help to reduce that. And youth work activities can help to improve confidence, it can help to upskill young people, it can give them opportunities that they've never had before. So I believe that taking part in a community-based youth work organisation allows me to contribute to that and to help shape the direction of that. But also another one is quality education. Youth work is a form of informal education, and like I say, the opportunities that you get can help to make educational experiences better for young people. It happens in a range of settings. It can happen in schools, it can happen out of school, it can be for young people that have left school. So I think that youth work, those two, it definitely goes for, but then there's specific issues that happen, and it really hits a lot of the Sustainable Development Goals. So it's a really good thing. And I just wanted to finish off my bit about a quote from a young person that works with Youth Scotland, Eddie. He said, "If I can make a big difference in my community, then so can you." And I think that really sums up what I'm trying to say, is that young people, and like everybody else has said, young people want to make a difference, and there's so many different ways that they can do that. They can volunteer with your organisation, they can be part of planning groups, and they can be trustees. And like I've said, the Year of Young People is the year to really make that happen. I've been to things before where people have said there's not enough time, there's not enough resources. It's time to make the time. It's time to think about how you can incorporate it into your organisation and how you can make it happen. It isn't difficult. It's been done, and it's really encouraging to hear that things are going on and that it's happening. But there is a lot of work to be done, and like we said, we're all here to support you. If you want to get in contact to hear a little bit more about my experience of being a young trustee and how you can involve other young trustees, I'd be really interested in helping you out. So on Twitter, I'm at MMain, so give me a follow. And also, if you want to contact Youth Scotland, they're at Youth Scotland, and they can get you in contact with me. But I'm always happy to support in any way. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I thought Amy did quite abruptly there. I was like, oh, wait, what? So, listen, I really hope that you've all enjoyed today. So we want to maybe have a wee think about ourselves as well for you guys. Some take-homes from today. So some of the things I would like to ask you is maybe what do you guys want from this year, from the Year of Young People? What do you hope young people will achieve from the year? Also, how can we maybe bring in the Sustainable Development Goals into that? We've spoke a wee bit briefly about that. And also, what can we maybe do for these guys here? So those are the sort of 3 questions I would like to push to you guys. Don't feel any pressure. There's just a full room of people to answer to.
I'll start first, and then I'll pass this mic down to there. Yeah. Oh.
Do you want to share the mic?
No. Is it? Oh, much better. Okay, so I'll pass this mic on down to the bottom bit. So for me, I hope for the Year of Young People, throughout the year, we'll be highlighting the kind of impact that young people have been making, but also to kind of value the things that young people have to offer now and for the future as well. Like I said earlier in my intro, that young people have been making an impact for Scotland for many, many years, but for this year, we're putting them on the spotlight. And I hope that by doing so, we create a legacy that young people can make much more of an impact for the community, for Scotland, and for the world.
Damn, you stole all the good buzzwords. Right, got easy questions, Rachel. I think at the end of this year, I'm expecting big things from Scotland, so no pressure on you guys, but I think that it's time for young people to be taken seriously and to be seen as active citizens and actual contributors to the society. I mean, only just recently we were still having a debate about whether 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds could vote. Some people were still questioning young people's intelligence and their capability to take part in civic life. And I'd like for at the end of this year for that to no longer be a question, for that to no longer be a discussion item that needs to be talked about. And in terms of things like the Sustainable Development Goals, I think what's important is to outright acknowledge things like the Sustainable Development Goals. Like, for example, for us, that's why it's so important for us to have the UNCRC, because so many politicians, so many organisations are already doing things that work towards this and work towards global goals and work towards affecting inequalities. But we need to actually outright say that. We need to outright say that we have a dedication and a commitment to these things for us to actually make meaningful change. And I think as such, when we're looking at things like the Sustainable Development Goals, we need to make sure that we're making a separate commitment to young people to ensure that they're not forgotten in the process. Yeah.
It's getting harder as it goes along the line. For me, for the Year of Young People, I always think about the legacy and what I want to happen after 2018, and I want the kind of environment that we've got going on in Scotland, the engagement that we've got going on, I want that to continue for years. I don't want it to be a one-off. I don't want on the 1st of January 2019 for people to be like, right, it's done, never mind, done. I want people to always have young people, when they're planning and when they're being strategic about their organisations, to have young people at the front of their minds and to think, how can we involve them, especially if you're working with them. I want there to be an attitude change. I want to never have to have some of the discussions that we're having again, because it's just part of life. And I really think that from the work that's going on already and from getting the opportunity to talk here and share our stories and all the other amazing things that are going on, I really think that'll happen, and I hope that the organisations like yourself and other organisations will get on board and really make it the culture here in Scotland.
So I think there's so many stereotypes. So for people our age who are 15, it's kind of like we're lazy or we're hanging about the streets, and I'd like that at the end of 2018 just to disappear, because evidently, like, none of us are really like that. We're not hanging about in the streets. We're up here, like, trying to tell you how youth can make a difference. So I think that should be stopped, because that's not what we are. And to do with Sustainable Development Goals, I think that, like, to do with YPI, with everything that schools do with that, I think they could all be covered through the charities. So I think that this should be, like, what's the word? Reinforced? Yeah, reinforced.
Just sort of the same as Hannah, like we said in our presentation, like, youth aren't in the future, youth are now. It's our future that we have to live in, you don't have to live in it. Like, we have to deal with the consequences. And the same for the Sustainable Development Goals as well.
Just like those two said next to me. Just because we're 15, like, it doesn't mean we don't care. Like, we do care, that we believe that, like, if you're willing to hear our voices and hear our opinions, then we can really make a difference.
Yeah. I just want to say that basically for the Year of Young People, I want young people to be able to enjoy themselves this year and have a bit of fun. When we're just talking briefly about legacy, there was actually one of the communicating ambassadors tweeted out to Kevin and myself the other day that she had a dream that in 2020 we were launching and helping support a Year of Young People in Africa. Right, which seems a bit far-fetched, but not really. We want this to be able to, we want other countries to look at us and see that this is a possibility, that they should be helping support their young people to do the same sort of action and make sure their government and their organisations are helping support their young people to have a sustainable future, which is a part of obviously the Sustainable Goals. And in terms of you guys, for us, we want you to trust us. We want you to be able to ask us to get involved with these processes and help make the decisions, not just do it as a tick box exercise, actually give us that opportunity and actually give us the trust that we sort of actually deserve. So that's my sort of takeaway today. So we really hope you've enjoyed yourself today, and I will literally pass you to Amy as she's about to finish up. Thank you very much.
Now, I won't keep you all much longer because there's something really exciting happening soon that I'll announce in a second, but I just want to thank you all for coming along to this workshop and for listening to our inputs and for being so receptive to us and for taking part in our discussion. We really appreciate that you've got a keen interest in involving young people in the work that you do, and we hope that our stories, which are just a few stories going on in Scotland, have been inspirational to you and have kind of got you thinking about what you can do next. Like I've said, all of our organisations are available to support you and to help you. If you spot us going about, you can have a chat with us if you've got any questions. And we just want to make sure that, like I say, there's a legacy in that, and that this keeps going forward. It's been the sentiment of the whole day, and I think that that's just really important. I want to say before I go, as well as a thank you to you guys, I'd like to thank the Open Government Pioneers UK project with funding from the Big Lottery Fund and SCVO for allowing us to have this spot. I got told to do this just before, so I had to just double check. But we do thank them because this is a brilliant spot for us to get, and we've had a chance to share with you guys our experiences. So we're really thankful to all them for funding this and giving us the opportunity to talk here. The really exciting thing that I'd encourage you all to go to is probably in about 5 minutes now because we went a little bit over time, but it's fine. Run. So it's in the main auditorium, and it is the launch of a new guide from SCVO about involving young people in the third sector. So it's going to be really good. We recommend that you go along to that and see what's going on. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming along. And we'll see you soon.